Is everybody ready?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Good evening and welcome to the September 8th, 2020 meeting of Pequannock Township Council. Ms. Marsh?
In accordance with the requirements of New Jersey's Open Public Meetings Act, notice of this meeting was included in the annual meeting notice, which was filed in the office of the Township Clerk, posted on the bulletin board in the municipal building, published as legal notice in the Suburban Trends newspaper, and distributed to all persons requesting notice in accordance with Township policy. Information on remote access to the meeting was sent via email to the Suburban Trends, Daily Record, and Record newspapers and posted on the Township's website.
Excellent, thank me. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a prayer and a moment of thanks for individuals serving our nation. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Most gracious Providence, we ask that you bless this governing body with an abundance of wisdom and understanding, so that every deliberation will result in actions which will promote the common good and the general welfare for all the people of Pequannock Township. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Ms. Marsh, will you please call the roll?
Lawrence Lynch,
I'm here.
Mr. Cole,
Here.
Mr. Phelan,
Here.
Mrs. Russell,
Here.
Mayor Hurd.
I am here. Excellent.
We have
So for
quorum.
anyone who hasn't, thank you. For anybody who hasn't participated in one of our remote meetings, I'm going to ask Mr. Brewer to review the format of the meeting. Mr. Brewer.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This meeting is being held via Zoom. Anyone who would like to participate will be invited to do so either at the appropriate times as designated in the agenda, or should council elect to open the meeting for public participation. If you would like to be recognized to participate, please either raise your hand through using the hand raise function of Zoom, or indicate in the chat function that you would like to be recognized. And again, these are for the identified portions of the meeting which are open to the public. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Excellent. Thank you, Mr. Brewer. At this time, there are no presentations, so we're going to go to report from volunteers. If there is any reports or comments from any volunteers serving our community, please raise your hand and wait to be recognized. Mr. Brewer.
Mr. Mayor, no hands have been raised.
Okay, thank you. Seeing none, we'll move on to public comment. The public comment period will be limited to a total of 30 minutes. An additional period for public comment is reserved later in the meeting. Individuals are requested to limit their questions and comments to 3 minutes. If anyone wishes to address the council, please raise your hand, wait to be recognized, and please provide your name and address for the record. Mr. Brewer.
Mr. Mayor, we do have a hand raised.
Good evening, everybody. Peter Schmidt, 16 Manor Avenue. I just wanted to comment that you are not alone and your work is very much appreciated. So people are actually listening to your meetings. That's all my comment.
Oh, Peter, thank you very much. We really do appreciate that.
My pleasure.
Thank you, Peter.
Yep.
Okay, Mr. Brewer, is anyone else?
Mr. Mayor, there are no other hands raised.
Okay, so at this time, we're going to go to the manager's report. Mr. Brewer.
Thank you, sir. First item in my manager's report pertains to a comment I made at the last council meeting, which was wrong. So I need to correct that for the benefit of the record and apologize to the council and anybody who was listening. There was a discussion about Public Works employees traveling in vehicles together, and I said that should not be happening or something to that effect. And I followed up with the Public Works director and found out the next day that they are in fact traveling together, provided they're wearing masks. So there are mitigating measures in place, but I didn't want something that I said incorrectly to remain on the record. The next thing was I just wanted to raise to the council and the public's awareness that there are festive improvements that will be made to the parking lot in front of the municipal building. Many people may not be aware that that is actually property that belongs to the First Reformed Church of Pompton Plains. The genesis of this was after the 2019 tree lighting ceremony. There were some comments about how could it be improved, how could the tree be more aesthetically pleasing, a little bit more prominently displayed. Obviously, there is no capital appropriation to pay for this, so through roughly $16,500 worth of donations from private citizens and groups, a tree was purchased and donated to the township, much like the tree that now exists down at the point, which we've had for a couple of years, as well as some costs associated with the site improvements. Funds were even donated to cover those. So Public Works got involved. I was involved, Pastor Kathleen, some representatives from the church. I'm not sure who wants to remain anonymous or be known at this point, so that's why I'm not being more specific. And the process was planned out, and it's going to be initiated. So there's going to be an 18-foot tree installed in the middle of the sidewalk. The sidewalk will be made to go around the tree, and some of the cherry trees will be removed. The remaining 4 cherry trees will be lit, as will the 4 trees on Newark Pompton Turnpike. The tree in the middle will be multicolored light. The Christmas tree will have multicolored lights. The other trees will have white lights. And there may be an opportunity, should the church or other people feel like enhancing this in the future, it could potentially be enhanced. While it is not the holiday season in November and December, the area will be decorated with flowers, or potentially in the fall with hay bales and gourds and other things like that. It'll be just a nice improvement to try to dress up the municipal building. And many of the comments about it have been, we think we're really going to make a spot that people would love to take their pictures for the holidays and other things like that. So with the generosity of others, we're looking forward to partner to make that happen. And
Oh, that is great. I'm actually really excited about that tree in the front.
yeah. And the last thing, and I just mentioned this because it came out in the transmission of documents to the council. There was a letter to the council about some speeding issues on Winding Way and Greendale Avenue. If the council would like me to respond to that, that's fine. If you want me to draft a response and share it with you, whatever you so desire. I've already addressed the matter with the police department, who will be doing targeted enforcement, the speed sign, and addressing the issue.
Yeah, I do think it would be great to kind of just update us on maybe the response. We do get lately a lot of calls for that area, where people just seem to be using it more as a cut through than ever before.
Yeah, unfortunately, there are a lot of streets that are utilized as cut throughs, and people either locally or not locally use them to get from point A to point B. It's interesting. The police department actually has a book of all the streets that they've done targeted enforcement on, and virtually every street in town is in that book because it's been an issue at one point or another.
Right.
We typically deploy the speed sign in an effort to deter speeding. We do targeted enforcement, and we ask the engineer to review it to see if there are any passive measures that could have an effect on traffic calming. As we all know, everyone would like to have speed humps on their street, in many cases until they have the speed humps, and then they hear ka-thunk, ka-thunk throughout the night. But
all the time.
Unfortunately, speed humps are not the panacea that they're perceived to be, and create a lot of challenges unnecessarily. So that's what we're doing with the streets that have been identified.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Mr. Brewer.
Let you respond to that, Adam.
Yep.
Okay. And again, I'll just reiterate that it's been referred to the police department, identify the actions being taken, and thank the person for sharing their concerns with the council.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
That is all, correct?
That is all, yes.
Okay. Moving on. There are no public hearings or no ordinances for introduction. So next on the agenda is resolutions. Ms. Marsh. Ms. Marsh, you are muted.
There's some very strange noises going on outside on the street. Okay, let's start over. Beginning with R 2020-182, authorizing tax office refunds, overpayments, or cancellations. R 2020-183, prescribing actions for JCP&L relative to Tropical Storm Isaias. R 2020-184, confirming the designated memberships in Pequannock Township Fire Department. That's for Scott Cook. R 2020-185, authorizing the execution of an interlocal agreement between the Township of Pequannock and the Borough of Bloomingdale for fire inspection services. 2020-186, authorizing the use of Educational Services Commission of New Jersey Cooperative Pricing System for the purpose of HVAC time and material from Inline Heating and Air Conditioning Company. R 2020-187, rejecting all bids in connection with the sale of certain property owned by the Township of Pequannock, that's Block 2306, Lot 20, not required for public purposes pursuant to NJSA 48:12-13, paragraph A, and authorizing the township manager and township clerk to re-advertise the property for sale with a minimum bid. 2020-188, authorizing release of designated escrow deposits, and R 2020-189, approving payment of the itemized claims as set forth on the September 3rd, 2020 bill list and 2015 FEMA elevation escrow list.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Marsh. Any questions, comments from council?
No, I was just going to say I'm glad to see the resolution for 2020-183. We all need to band together and do something about the JCP&L. So that was it.
Rich, you had a question?
Yeah, I don't understand why we're spending so much money for air conditioning and heating in a building. That building house is not as big as my house, and we're spending so much money. I don't get it. Adam?
It is a complete new heating and air conditioning system because the one that is there is no longer functional.
But I put a complete new AC and heating in my house, and it didn't cost that much money.
Okay.
Why?
You don't have prevailing wage, I bet, Rich.
Well, the issue was identified. It was reviewed by the Public Works Director. There was a $48,000 capital appropriation in the budget based upon this proposal. So if the council would like to review less costly options, I'll follow that direction from council, but this was the plan as identified.
I would. I mean, I'm not going to mention the person that I use in town, but it didn't cost me $46,000 to redo everything in here.
Right. I was just reviewing some of it, and you have two 60,000 BTUs, and then on the second floor you have two 2-ton cooling systems. My whole house is a 3-ton cooling system. So, and that place is smaller than mine. And what else did I notice? Also, it's all openings in floors, walls, and ceiling will be done by others, boxing in ductwork. So the ductwork is not going within the walls. It would be interesting to see, wouldn't it be cheaper to do a ductless unit? Or at least put this out to bid. This sounds like it's a lot of money for a tiny house.
Yeah, putting it out to be bid could be a challenge because then we'd have to design the system, so there would be costs there. But if the council would prefer that this be reviewed to see if there's a less costly option, then I'll follow that direction from council.
One of my questions would be is what are we going to use this asset for? We acquired it, but I don't think we ever really came up with a long-term vision. So I do like the idea, the mini ductless split. I'm sure that's going to be less expensive. That's my 2 cents. I'd like to look in to see if there's any other solutions, just because what are we doing with this house over the long run?
Right, because what it's used for now is really temporary until we decided what we were going to use it for.
Right.
Yeah,
So
the temporary use has kind of become a permanent use. The fire inspectors are located there, so the fire official's office and the 3 staff that work with them, as well as the flood resilience officers there. So it is used a lot, and there are a lot of meetings that, when we had meetings in person, that were held there with the residents who were associated with the elevation projects. So I would love to house the staff somewhere else and knock the house down, potentially, or use it for some other purpose. But at the moment, we have a need to have an occupied facility, so we need to do something. If council wants me to circle back to staff and see if there's alternative recommendations, like I said, if so directed, I'll do that.
Yeah.
I mean, if there was something.
So how many people are working there? About 7?
There's a total of 5. The
Okay.
fire official's office is part-time, but it does include 4.
right.
I mean, do we think it's worth the legwork to see if there's a cheaper option? You know, or
I mean, if we could get away with the mini duct split, I think that'd be great. That's definitely going to be less expensive. on the flip side of that, I mean, if our long-term plan is keeping that and we're not going to knock down and, you know, we're going to add on to it, that makes sense. But I think before we spend 50 grand, you know, let's just ask the question and figure it out. Or, you know, I mean, I don't know how much a split system goes for, but I'm sure it's not 50.
Okay.
Right. Adam, and why can't we put this out to bid?
Well, we can, but it has to be designed.
Okay.
So we
So
would
we have to spend the
we
money.
need someone to design the system first. So
Right.
I'd have to go find somebody that would design. I am not capable of designing an HVAC system.
How much
And then that's
did the
gonna
new
cost money too.
we replaced the HVAC in the municipal building?
Yes, we got a grant for that.
Oh, and that was a grant. We can't get a grant for this?
No, because it's oil. The grant that we got for the municipal building was
Uh,
ESG based upon natural gas reduction in gas usage.
Yeah, this
so
this
we-
sounds like
tried.
it's completely overkill, all the systems in there. I would really like to see if we could, you know, run this by a couple other people and see if there's any other thing to do, you know?
Yeah.
We have a ton of HVAC contractors in our town
Right.
that know what they're doing.
But like Adam said, we do have to, I guess, pay somebody to design it, right? If we were to go out to bid.
right.
Well, somebody would have to design it. Whether they would require payment or not, I don't know. Sometimes you can get somebody that's a general
Okay.
person that knows this stuff that'll do it on the arm. Sometimes you can't. It would have to be something we'd have to explore.
Right. We may be able to get somebody to design it for us and then put it out
Right.
to bid.
Yeah. The challenge is that person that can't.
Well,
That's the only thing that's could cause people not be interested. But that's something we can work on.
well, Adam, if you could just look into it a little more, let's take a look at that and then come back to us and just what are the challenges and is there another option really quick?
Do they not have heat at all?
There's an original boiler to the building that no one will service, and it was spotty last year. So that's why the budget appropriation was put in through November to plan for this year for implementation. So we'll
Right.
figure something out. I'll circle back to council with a review and
And do they,
These were the people
and-
that we moved.
do we need to have central air in the whole house? We couldn't just, if there's only 5 people, do window units? I mean, like I said, I still don't know that we know what we're doing with this building.
right. Yeah, no, we'll explore the options to see what could exist.
All right. I do have another question, kind of backing on our 2020-183. Is there anything out there that we can do a resolution for Cablevision or Altice or whatever they're calling themselves?
Right.
Certainly, we can always put together a resolution if the council wants to express its thoughts. As I reported in my weekly manager's report, we may be gaining some headway to have a conversation with them, but I don't have concrete results yet, so I'm not going to report it in public. But if the council would like that prepared for a future meeting, I'd be happy to take a swing at a draft.
I think that would
Yeah,
be great.
I mean, if we can find something out there, because I mean, the other thing with JCP&L is not giving any money back to their consumers, where PSE&G is giving up to $250 back for food that was lost in your refrigerator. But I looked all over the place, and JCP&L has nothing. All they say is call your insurance company. So that's not right. My 2 cents. Anybody else?
I agree.
All right.
My
So,
insurance company, I'm sorry, Ryan, my insurance company pays.
Go ahead.
My insurance company pays for loss of food.
Hmm.
And you have the same insurance company, I believe.
I do. I have USAA. I have to look into that. All right. Can I get a motion to adopt these resolutions?
I'll make a motion to adopt resolutions. What do we got? R 2020-182 through R 2020 what do we got? I'm sorry.
189.
189.
I'll second it.
I'm
Oh,
sorry,
Wait,
hold on.
Wait,
we have to take out our 2020-186.
Oh, right. Because he's going back. All right.
Yeah.
All right, let's start that
Good
over.
catch.
I didn't even have it in front of me. Wait a minute.
You want me to do it?
All right, so we'll adopt resolutions R 2020-182 through R 2020-189. 85, and then 2020 187 through 189.
I'll second it.
There you go. All right. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Florence Lynch,
Yes.
Mr. Cole,
Yes.
Mr. Phelan,
Richard, I'm mute.
Mute.
Yes.
Mrs. Russell,
Yes.
Mayor Hurd.
Yes. Okay, there are no items for discussion and there are no reports or notices. So let's go to council reports and announcements. Councilwoman Florence Lynch.
Yes, real quick. The Economic Development Advisory Committee, they met this month in August. Just to give you a quick highlight, because it kind of ties in with what we were talking about with the festivities with the new Christmas tree in front of Town Hall. The Economic Committee, they broke into 4 small internal committees, and they're working to address 4 items or ideas, if you will. One is they'd like to, they're exploring hosting a gingerbread walk, you know, that which is similar to a winter festival around the Christmas tree lighting. And of course, would make it COVID friendly. And they're working on ideas in conjunction with the chamber and some other groups that they'll pull in. So once the plan is a little bit more clearly defined, they'll present something to council, probably at the next meeting. So I just kind of wanted to give you an update on that. I think it would be a great idea if we could pull that off. And also another committee is they're looking to pitch kind of a beautification budget. So they have a committee looking into how they can beautify the turnpike in front of the businesses, you know, ideas or hanging baskets, flower pots, what have you. So, you know, hopefully some of that stuff can possibly be donated. But then the thing is, they'd still have to probably come up with a budget of some sort for maintenance. So one of the questions, one of the questions, and I sent you an email, Adam, I think I copied Ryan on it. So when you get a chance, you can look at it. One was about their own budget for the committee and what they could use that to and what that was limited to. But the other was, they did a reach out to other towns like Pompton Lakes, for instance. We know Pompton Lakes has a bid. They actually the bid hires a landscaper to, you know, maintain those planters. Riverdale, they have their DPW actually water their hanging baskets, you know, so they're pulling together some different ideas, and they're going to present that as well. So I think it would be great if we could get something like that off the ground, because I do know for over the years, I've had many people reach out to us saying that they would love to see some kind of a beautification committee. And we realize that, you know, the budget is tight. So it's not like there's, you know, money you can just throw in there, but we're going to try to come up with a plan, and maybe, you know, we can, you know, do something with a budget to beautify the turnpike in front of the businesses.
Sure.
So that was the main thing. And then they have a website committee just looking to, you know, they want to just get good pertinent information up on their EDC website that ties into our Pequannock website. So they're working on that. And then of course the budget committee, which kind of goes hand in hand with what I was just saying. So that's it. Just figured I'd give you that little update because they hadn't met in a while. And our next meeting is September 23rd at 7:30. And our flood committee will be meeting this Thursday at 7:30. Okay, that's it.
Melissa,
All right, thank you.
I'm sorry, Melissa, the town
Go ahead.
I'm in Vermont has a beautification committee.
Yeah, no, it's great. I mean, I think it would be great if we could do something like that. I think we could really use it.
Hey, Melissa, I have somebody that's interested in taking care of flowers and stuff, so I'll reach out to you offline.
Okay, thanks.
All right, is that it?
Yep.
Okay, Councilman Cole.
I don't have anything other than if you want to look at some beautiful flowers. I was in Lake George this summer, and their hanging baskets were unbelievable. But it takes a lot of maintenance and watering, and I'm sure it's more than just watering. I'm sure they're feeding those flowers too. They were the biggest hanging baskets I've ever seen. So I'll see if I can get a picture to share, but really nice.
Okay.
I'd be
Great.
for that too. That's all I have.
Same in Vermont,
Thank you.
Dave. Same in Vermont.
Lots of Miracle Grow. Okay, thank you, Mr. Cole. Councilman Phelan.
I don't have anything because I was away most of August. That's it.
All right, thank you. Deputy Mayor Russell?
Yes, the only thing I have is, while the hoedown will not look like the hoedown, they have been working along with Adam on trying to get something for the township. So hopefully, they did ask, and I thought we discussed it. There's no way we could have like a beer garden there, Adam, at the hoedown?
It's possible, but it requires approvals. So I kick that more to Ms. Marsh. I know there's ABC dynamics to that, and I don't know how long it takes. I know the chamber gets it for their event.
Right.
Yeah, it's been discussed in the past, and for some reason it just never has happened.
I can look into what kind of licenses it takes, but usually it's a charitable organization, so I'm not sure how it works for municipality, but I can look into it.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
All righty, is that all?
That's it.
Okay, well, thank you. I only have a few quick things. Number one, happy Labor Day to everybody. Belated Labor Day, of course. Number two, we had a great food truck festival. It was a beautiful day at PV Park. Unfortunately, it got sold out as soon as it was announced. We had 500 people committed to it. We had a total of 3 trucks over in the treed area. Then we had 3 other vendors over in the other area where the court is, the old basketball court area. And I got to tell you, it was great. I talked to everybody. They were very happy that we actually did it. They were very happy that people showed up. And I had some great mozzarella, I got to tell you. So those guys were awesome. So that is all I have. Moving on, we're going back to public comment. If anyone wishes to address the council, please raise your hand and wait to be recognized and provide your name and address for the record. Mr. Brewer.
Mr. Mayor, there are no hands raised.
All righty. So next on the agenda is minutes for approval, August 25th, 2020. Are there any comments on these minutes? If not, is there a motion to approve?
I'll
Make that motion.
I got Rich first. Who can give me a second?
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, no opposed. Excellent. So next on the agenda is a closed session discussion. Mr. Uzdike, will you please explain the procedure for holding this closed session?
Sure. This is the point of our meeting where the council goes into executive session to discuss matters that involve confidentiality or attorney-client privilege. Normally, at our live meetings, we ask the public to leave. Obviously, we're on a Zoom meeting, so what will happen is members of the public who are on will be disconnected to our meeting for this period of time. We are very careful during this period because our meetings are not live that we take no action following the executive session. So while the meeting will be briefly restarted to adjourn, there will be no formal action taken after tonight's closed session, and any action that we need to take as a result of closed session will happen at our next meeting. Should be it, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. So is there a motion to approve Resolution R 2020-190, which is authorizing the Township Council to meet in executive session to discuss contract negotiations regarding Newark bulk water and matters of attorney-client privilege?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Excellent. All right, opposed? All in favor? Sorry, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Excellent. So no action will be taken following a closed session. At this time, the public portion of the meeting is recessed for closed session.
So, Mr. Mayor, if you don't mind, if I could ask all members of the public to adjourn. Otherwise, in approximately 20 seconds, I will adjourn them. Okay. Everyone has either left or been adjourned.
Mr. Usteck.
Thank
I'm
you.
now recording.
Wait.
All in
Wait.
favor?
Good? Okay. Tonight's executive session, the council was brought up to date on negotiations with the city of Newark water agreement, and direction was given to the township manager in that regard. Council was also updated on issues concerning the township water supply and the potential need to do some further investigation. And again, direction was given to the township attorney and the township manager in that regard. That was tonight's executive session.
All right, thank you, Mr. Usteck. So there being no further business, is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Bye.
Opposed? All right, meeting adjourned at
Bye,
6:59.
guys. Thank you.
Well, sorry,
Good night, folks.
7:59.
Thank you, Bob.
Thank you.
Good night,
Thanks,
everybody.
everybody.